The fifth adventure, The Forsaken Hunter, is now well underway, with it containing many lore drops and possible teasers to future updates and future content. It is looking increasingly likely that we're finally going to be going back to the shores of gold. Why do we do this, and what would we achieve by going there? Let's delve into it. Now it goes without saying that there will be quite some major spoilers to this adventure, so if you haven't played it, then you have now been warned. So then, from the adventure, we see that Aramanta is trying to create a staff and does succeed in doing that to transport her to the Sea of the Damned and rescue the Dark Brethren, who have been trapped there since the wound, as they refer to it, healed with the bridge being open between the Sea of the Damned and the Sea of Thieves. To do this, she requires two items: the Trident of Dark Tides and the Goldwaters Skull from the Dark Brethren. So it basically is confirmed that the Goldwater, he isn't coming back. The Goldwater's story is over. He is now well and truly dead after he exploded in some kind of ritual during the Dark Brethren tall tale in Sea of Thieves: A Pirate's Life. Alright, so why does Aramanta need the Goldwaters Skull? As mentioned, she's trying to create a weapon to transport herself and back to the Sea of the Damned. And we can learn through the journals that she wrote, the Goldwater's physical eyes, the glowing green gems in the skull, are twin veil stones for the Veil of the Ancients. This means that the Goldwaters Skull houses a lot of power, a lot of it. The power to transport people to and fro the Sea of the Damned, as what she wants to do with the weapon. It's no longer the Goldwater went insane, as it's revealed that these twin veil stones allow you to peer into countless other worlds filled with treasure, but you can only look, you cannot take. And as Rathbone, someone who is greedy and absolutely loves gold and would do anything to get his hands on it, you can understand why this would literally send him insane. Now, this does then mean that the Veil of the Ancients is not complete. Personally, I already knew this wasn't complete. How? Well, in the main menu, if you look at the Veil of the Ancients, we can see that it has 5 veil stones in it, contrary to the 3 that we have to collect in the Legend of the Veil. This is the same means that it's not complete. And we know that with 3 veil stones it houses the power to transport us to and from the Sea of the Damned, although even with 2 it seems it can do that. So what on earth could all 5 do? We know that it was crafted by the Ancients, as they first wanted to part the veil. They wanted to connect the 2 worlds. Then afterwards, after they realised that that's not something they should do, they took the veil stones out of it, hid them away, and then chucked the Veil of the Ancients into the belly of the Shrouded Ghost, which gave the Shrouded Ghost its power to move between worlds. That's why it's so rare, because it moves between the realms, the Tunnels of the Damned, the Sea of the Damned, the Sea of Thieves, whatever. So then, if the Ancients seek to join the 2 worlds, that must mean they did need the full 5 stones. Meaning with the 3, we can go to and from the Sea of the Damned, but with all 5, we can completely rejoin the world. Whether Flameheart knows this information or not is unknown, but we should probably get our hands on those 2 veil stones because it's certainly bad in the hands of evil. But this does beg the question of where the Goldwater got the veil stones from. And we give the TLDR of what actually happened with the Goldwater. Basically, we're going to jump to a time period where the Rathbone is in charge of the Goldwater Company. He learns the truth at Tribute Peak, an island that houses an absolute ton of riches. He goes there, finds the riches, and fills his boat up with as much as possible. On the way back, he's confronted by Captain Ellie Slay and a character called Mercy who is part of Ramsey's crew, and due to the sheer weight of the gold that he picked up, his boat sinks and they do not help him. The gold is cursed though, and because of his absolute lust for wealth, he survives, but the cursed treasure transforms him into the skeleton lord that he is now. And then when the pirate lord goes to visit him, and they talk, the Goldwater isn't technically insane. So the question is, where did he get them from, as I say? Let's rewind a bit. What is Tribute Peak? Tribute Peak, or the Shores of Gold, was a place where the ancients stored their wealth, and they enlisted 10 protectors, which can be seen in the statues on the Shores of Gold, to protect this loot eternally. When the ancients died out, and the fog enshrouded Tribute Peak, obviously this was a lost legend. However, if they were entrusting all of their wealth to protectors, they would have had a lot of trust. Perhaps enough trust to guard not 1, but 2 Veilstones. That's right, I think that the ancients kept some of the Veilstones. Whilst they very much could have tossed them overboard, we know that they kept at least 1 because we get it from the ancient priest. I mean, how could you not? They are very useful for things after all. They're these mythical stones that are connected to the Sea of the Damned. But I believe that 2 of the Veilstones were entrusted to the protectors of the Shores of Gold. I mean, it's only common sense, right? They've got these 2 extremely powerful and dangerous artifacts that they're entrusting to their protectors, their most favoured warriors. They think they're these immortal civilizations who, those gemstones would need protecting from the future. Now, another thing to mention is that they're not described as 2 Veilstones, but they're described as twin Veilstones. It's said that they used to appear into other worlds, as I said, so could it be that each one of the Veilstones does a different job? And those 2 Veilstones can be used to peer into other worlds. They come as a pair, twin Veilstones. Notice they do also look a bit different. This could just be the Goldwaters' eyes, them not being modelled at the time or whatever, but they do look extremely different to the other Veilstones, and like they would fit in eye sockets, although that could almost be just a case around the main gemstone. So then why would we need to go back to the Shores of Gold? The gemstones aren't there. Well, I believe that part of an adventure, or a voyage, or even maybe if we're lucky a tall tale, will see us return there with the help of the Pirate Lord, to find out some clues, to find out where they might be, to find out something about them, something, an incentive to go back to the Shores of Gold. Maybe even meet the ancients there. We've been seeing more and more of the ancients, and we know that Flameheart has one captive. It's how he found out about the Veil of the Ancients, if you're not aware. And so if he has one captive, that must mean there could be some still around, and so going to the Shores of Gold will certainly be a starting point, a place where we can investigate, and a place where there could actually be a really awesome cutscene. This might be a far stretch, but imagine we go there in, say, a tall tale, and then the whole of the ancient civilization are there, and we're surprised, and they're like grouping up for this big attack or something, or they're figuring out what to do, and the Pirate Lord meets them, there's this awesome music, and they just, discuss. It would be an incredible cutscene. Something like that I would love, but obviously the chances of that are, relatively slim. But certainly the Shores of Gold is looking more and more likely, due to the factors that I have just listed. We need to find out more about the Veil of the Ancients. The Servant of the Flame, it's pretty clear to us, is trying to resurrect Flameheart, and the Veil of the Ancients breaking down the boundaries of the world is certainly a way to do that. And so if he manages to lay his hands on all of the Veilstones, it could have dastardly effects. The Servant of the Flame will also be continuing to find other ways to resurrect his father, but I'm not quite sure here. Will he continue pursuing the Legend of the Veil, because it's certainly looking like that story's not over yet, or will he go for something else? Will he try something new? Because he sort of lost the battle with the Legend of the Veil. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm extremely excited to see where they take it, and there's actually some very deep lore analysis that we can look into here. Or I could be completely wrong, and they've just made a mistake in the art department. Wherever they take the story of Sea of Thieves, I am extremely excited. The stakes are really ramping up, and the story feels like it's getting alive again. It feels like it's more alive than ever. Just like the game, it's growing and it's expanding to new heights more than ever before. Let me know what you think of all this down in the comments below, and just before the video ends, I've mentioned this in a video before, but I do want to mention that I've got actually a second channel I've just set up. It's called The Hogwarts, and I'm basically going to be covering Hogwarts Legacy, doing all the stuff I do on Sea of Thieves, but on that game, so if you're interested in its development, please do go check it out. I'm just trying something new for a second channel for a change. Anyways, that does just about bring us to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please do consider leaving me a like. It may not seem like a big thing to you, but it really does help out the channel. And consider subscribing to stay up to date with all the latest Sea of Thieves news as and when it comes out. And why not hit the bell as well. If you do want to go the extra mile, you can become a channel member for just a small fee a month. It really helps out on the channel a ton. But anyways, apart from all that, thanks for watching and I'll see you later.